Pull out the katana, my boy. Pull out the
Yeah.
katana.
Yo, we about to slice up the charts.
Yeah.
There we go.
Welcome back, ChartAddicts. Make sure to click like and subscribe for more amazing content. If you haven't already grabbed your tickets to the FX Summit 2022 conference, make sure to grab them in the link below. Grab your tickets before they sell out. See you there. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Expert Trader podcast series, episode 25. Two very special guests, the trade bender himself, Qbstew, Mr. Jason Stewart, and the phenom, Mr. James Storms. Welcome back to the podcast.
What's going on?
Pull out the katana, my boy. Pull out the katana.
Yo, we about to slice up the charts.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, yo. So it's been a while since we had both y'all on the podcast. Jason, you want to catch us up? What's been new in your world? And then James, we'll go to you.
A lot of the same, just continue to like level up my mind, continue to trade, continue to like work out, exercise, take care of my body, and just constantly be a student to life and learn shit. So dope to be on here with my boy James. I actually requested to be on here with James because I've just always loved his energy, and just the things that he's after are very similar to me. So
Actually, wouldn't want to be here with anyone else.
There we go.
As far as me, bro, it's very similar. You know, I think fitness goes hand in just overall discipline in your life, your diet, you know, your daily habits and things like that, you know, correlate to your overall success. And you know, I'm still I didn't get to run the marathon that I wanted to run last year. So I'm going to, you know, plan it for next year, and just, you know, kind of blowing off the steam of having a huge breakout year for myself, you know, kind of just like threw myself out there, and now I'm picking the pieces and recollecting everything back basically, you know. So I just want to, you know, keep myself, you know, sharp and like you said, you know, just be a student. There's always something to be learned. Whether you make mistakes or you do something great, you always kind of have to like internalize, you know, and just reflect on what you've done, you know. So that's where I'm at right now. I haven't traded for a couple months. I personally trade, you know, I don't want to go off topic, but I trade really well just in like short bursts, and then I kind of just take a little break, you know, do my thing, and then come back to the charts when I feel ready, you know. So that's where I'm at.
For sure. And I do want to go back and touch on the topic of breaks. You guys have both had a pretty amazing year, and I'm gonna go back and forth and kind of ask you guys about that. First, I want to start with you, Jason. Jason, you had your second six-figure day. It was a huge deal. But the way that you went about that trade and the way that it happened was like, you know, it was a pretty big story. You were in drawdown for a while. It was kind of like a whole thing. Can you talk about that day and what that meant to you?
yeah, it was definitely different than the first one. And that's been the biggest thing for me, is just like realizing that it's not something to look at that negatively. It's kind of a positive of like, wow, this is kind of what we expect and what we've worked to like get used to seeing. And that's exciting. But the cool thing was that, you know, we were on the YouTube live stream, and we're giving out free trade ideas. And so it was documented in front of everybody.
Yeah,
There.
that was the stream we were all live on, right? That's one you spoke
Yep.
about. I think it was
Yep.
MGD it was, right?
We broke the world
Exactly.
record for the
Yeah.
longest trading stream. We raised $13,000 for St. Jude's in 24 hours. But yeah, sorry, Jason, go ahead.
No. You got to mention that, bro. And it was just cool because so many of us got together and just donated, you know, a little portion of what we could, and just every little bit makes a difference. And so to know that we could be on there, but to call it live and just have the transparency of, I don't care whether I win or lose, like these are my parameters and I'm letting you guys know that. So then for it to end up at 119,000 in profit, which is like more so another like receipt in the time continuum of like, we really do this shit. But yeah, it was lit. It was lit.
That's awesome. We'll circle back to like emotions and things like that. I know we went on IG Live and we talked about it, but then we'll go through and talk about some more details. James, you had a crazy year. You had a lot of ups. You had a lot of downs. People, I don't know if you've spoken about what happened with the torch, what happened with all that. If you want to touch on that, help yourself. Talk about this year.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I came into the torch like I go to everything with high aspirations, bro. Like I want to, you know, I push it to the limit, bro, until the limit's been reached, and then, you know, whatever happens after that happens. But, you know, I don't make any excuses. Like I'm the one, you know, controlling the account. Like I started off well, you know, like when I try to flip accounts, like I always start off really small. Like, you know, I try to build a little profit, a little cushion, and then you can start to risk more and then, you know, do crazier shit, especially with, you know, everyone's watching. So I'm not trying to, you know, do anything too crazy off the jump, but I just didn't really see a lot of trades at the time. And, you know, like I don't really trade very often. Like the better I get, like I'm very selective with my trades, and I might only trade one one trade a week, or I might not even trade at all. So I had taken that one trade on US 30. I made like 10 or 12% or whatever. And then I didn't trade for like a week or two. And I guess that, you know, people were like asking me like, hey, why aren't you trading the torch? Like, why do you get the torch if you're not going to trade? And then Q kind of made a post saying, he was like, yo, the people want to see action. And I'm like, well, this is his show. Like, this is his thing. So if that's what the people want, then that's what the people want. And here's where I fucked up. I was in the airport. I was going to Europe for the first time, and I was in Paris airport when I entered the trades on GJ. And I found out that my next flight, I was going to Slovenia, and the flight didn't have Wi-Fi. And I was like pretty close to my stop loss. I wouldn't be able to watch it. So I was like, well, I either take the L now, or I, you know, extend the stops and kind of give it a little more room. So I gave it more room, and I just took a bad L, you know, like I scaled into it poorly. It was just overall that I forced the setup. There was nothing really there on the higher time frames. It was just regardless. So, you know, I made a mistake there. I traded it. The thing is, like, I'm only going to take trades that I really believe in. So I took it on my personal account too. I had like a few hundred lots on it. I lost like $160,000 on my personal account on that trade. So it was the biggest loss I'd ever taken after that. And at that point, and after that, I spiraled downward a little bit. I ended up, while I was on vacation, bro, from the time I left New York till I got, you know, I came back, I had lost like almost $500,000, like of that like 1.5 million or whatever that I made. But whatever, that's how it goes. Like I push the limit until I find that resistance, and then you fall off, you know. So now that's where I'm at. I'm like, all right, cool. I learned, I did something amazing. You know, now I'm kind of just recollecting and waiting for that next, I'm going to push past. I'm going to make way more money than I made, you know? So now I'm just coming from a place of experience, you know, every time you lose, you learn something valuable. So
that's awesome. We're going to circle back and talk about some of the lessons that you took from those losses, how you bounce back and how you're dealing with it. Jason, did you ever do the torch challenge?
No, and I actually wanted to say something in regards to even James doing the challenge. Is like, when I found out that he was doing it, in my head, I was thinking to myself, like, obviously it's going to be lit, but at the same time, I was like, he really has nothing to gain from doing this.
Right.
Like, and that's what I kept thinking to myself. And even while I had hit you, like, bro, like, don't even put too much pressure on yourself, because in my mind, it was basically like, if he had basically accomplished it and did what he planned on doing, then they had already expected that. And like, they would have been very impressed. It's like, oh yeah, we knew he was going to do that. But if he doesn't, then everyone has everything to say in the world, and he's a bad trader and da-da-da. And it just once again goes back to show, like, people's opinions of your trading ability, of your whatever it may be, your creativeness, whatever it may be, it only holds so much weight. It only holds the weight that you allow it to. And I just love your transparency, bro, because it's like Gary Vee says, that's your shit. Like, you're owning your shit. Like, yes, this is my shit. This happened to me. I don't care what any of y'all think, because at the end of the day, bro, you still took 60,000 to M's. You see what I'm saying? And that was in less than 6 months' time. So that's where I'm like, I have to put that out there vocally, because if people don't understand,
and people don't even believe it, bro. That's what's crazy.
Once again, it doesn't matter, because you have.
I think it's amazing, bro. I did something so amazing that people don't even think it's possible, and I'm just like, I'm just laughing because, like, you know, like, I did that shit. I don't care whether you believe it or not. Honestly, I check my account and the money's there. So
the stories, like, you know, you guys' stories, your come ups were, I don't want to say similar. You guys kind of like, you guys have a few similarities in your stories. Where did you guys actually meet? How did you guys actually get to know each other?
The first time I met Jason was in person, because I had followed him for a long time. Always, you know, just like you said, you know, just the vibes were there, bro. Mutual vibes. Like, I always liked, you know, the type of stuff that he was on. And I believe you had an event. I forget what it was for. It was from like a company that you were doing hosting an event for. And, you know, you just said everyone pull up. And I was like, yo, I just came to just meet you, honestly. And just, you know, that's what I like to do. I like meeting people, and just, you know, it's one thing to see someone behind a screen or what content they put out there, but actually meeting them in the flesh. And that's why I came out to fly out and do the podcast with you. I just felt like it's just more organic, and you can actually really, like, you know, understand like where a person is coming from, you know.
For sure. What year was this?
That was
this would have been last year, bro. And one thing I will say that I took away from it was the fact that, like, even when you pulled up, it was just on some genuine, like, we were just talking about life. Like, it wasn't even like, oh, hey, you're here and do this thing. It was like, I just genuinely wanted to chop it up with you. And it was cool too, because like, we were at this nice ass mansion. And me and James had like went up to the top of the balcony. It was like super secluded and just was lit. We smoked the J and just had a good ass talk about how far we've come and how far we're gonna go. And it was like, was like 45 minutes flew by, and I was like, damn, bro. It's like, all right, we got to get back down there. You know, like, bro, we just up here talking all day.
I think that was right after I think you had your 6-figure day a little while ago, and then we spoke about like, and I had just had mine. That was in like, it must have been November, December, or something like that of last year. Yeah, it was all good vibes, and you know, I definitely took a lot away from the interaction. You know.
So if we can bring it back home, a lot of folks, you know, when they see you guys now, they see you guys doing extraordinary things. You know, they're like, okay, yeah, of course they're winning. They have, you know, these extraordinary qualities, but they don't know that everybody started off broke. Everyone started off,
of course,
like really, really having to make.
I went broke multiple, more than once. Bro, I was rich and broke, then rich and broke. Like, not rich, but
talk about from broke to getting to the point where you guys are both having 6-figure successes and really succeeding in trading.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about survival, you know, like anybody can make money, but can you keep it? Like, that's the biggest thing that I've learned, you know, like I've done so many amazing, when I first, bro, like the third day I ever started trading, I took Q's 5-day course and I turned like $400 into like 6,000 in one day, you know, like, and then I ended up turning that account into like 20K or whatever. And then I had big losses, bro. What I've learned, the biggest thing for me is just paying myself, you know, like, cause once you pay yourself, you build your bank account. You know, it's a simple concept, but it's so hard because it's so easy to make money, but it's also very easy to lose money. It depends on how you trade too. Like, you know, I'm more aggressive. So like my aggression plays out well, and I withdraw my money. I start off small and I keep it rocking, you know? So I think just my biggest struggle was really just withdrawing money after I had my biggest wins. And now I know, you know, I'm still gonna, I mean, cut you off, but I'm still gonna push it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm never taking my foot off the gas. Like, if I make $1 million, cool. Like, next year I want to make 10. The year after that I want to make 100. Like, you know,
what I'm getting from that, like the biggest lesson I'm taking away from that is to really know yourself. And if you know that you have these bursts and you are successful, and you know nothing is guaranteed, then to make sure that you have that insurance policy.
Yeah, it's discipline, bro. Like, in the past I would trade all day long. Now, like, bro, I haven't traded since October. I've been watching the markets like calm, bro. Like, I'm not, you know, I see all these beautiful trades. I'm like, no worries. Like, January there's gonna be more you know, it's just I've gained a lot more discipline over the years, where I know myself and I know where I work well and where I don't work well, you know.
Me and Jason were just talking about this, and also like this was the conversation that me, Raul, and Alex had on the last podcast, which is people feel unproductive when they're not trading. So can you guys talk about taking breaks? Can you guys talk about, like, do you feel unproductive sometimes when you're taking a trading break, or do you just, like, is it just natural for you when you should get back in?
I do want to say something about what James just said, because like I'm even sitting here. I got ADD, so for all of y'all at home listening to this, if you have ADD, you can still be successful. You know, that's why I got to write this shit down. But the first thing is, you can have different trading styles. As in, James said he likes to trade in bursts. So a lot of people think you have to trade one account for a whole year, and that's just how you have to do it. It's like you have to get out of that thought process. It's called a build. So you could literally have a 7-day build that you do get phenomenal results, and like you said, then withdraw, reward yourself for that build.
Make it real. Like, it's not real until you actually realize the whether you put it in cryptos or you put it somewhere else or you just tuck it away or whatever. Just, you have to actually extract it out of the trading account, you know.
100%.
Facts. And people, once they can get past that, of like, when you start to get to the bigger bread, that's when it starts to become like, when you start to talk about a hedge fund, when you start to talk about account management, we start talking about really dealing with big money. That's when it's okay. Let me see your track record annually. But when you're just starting off, it's not really let me grow this 1K account conservatively for a whole year. It's these aggressive builds, and obviously majority of people fail. So, but I will say this, bro, because I want to have this on record. James is Shaun White, okay? So anytime Shaun White needs to learn a new trick or push it to that next level, it's going to require him to not land that shit multiple times. Yeah. Exactly. It's going to break his legs. And so it's like, as he keeps pushing the limits, you got to remember what comes with that. You're going to have broken bones, and there's going to be times where it doesn't happen, but that's the only way we continue to expand what's possible for all of us. And definitely had to make sure I put that on the record, because we know, we know you're going to keep pushing the limits. Like, we're all so young and early in this niche with 2021 and us going into 22 and beyond. It's like these charts is not going anywhere. So we're all going to continue to level up mentally. And that's gonna produce crazy results.
It's crazy. We're just getting started, bro. That's Jason, I think about all the time.
Jason, someone's sitting at home that's like, yeah, but you know, Jason's got all this clout. Jason can hit these 6-figure days. James doing all these crazy things because he's James, swimming in Russian waters, fighting Khabib. You know, I completely forgot where we left off. Guys, the Zoom meeting ended and these guys think we're running a bootleg operation over here.
You got to throw a commercial break in there so that way they won't even notice that anything happened.
I'm joking. The question was, someone's sitting at home right now and they said, okay, of course you guys have all the success, but I'm broke right now and I'm trying to get to where they are and I just don't even know how that's possible. What did you guys do that was different than what everybody else did to kind of get to that point of success? And we can start with you, Jason, and we can kind of move on to you, James.
I don't think we did anything that hasn't been done before. Like, we didn't have to reinvent the wheel as far as how do you get there. And I think too many people get caught up in like where they're at, and that discourages them from even taking those advancing steps to try to get more. It's almost as though if you thought about like success or getting even six figures as climbing a mountain, like when you start so low on the mountain, which we all did, it can be very overwhelming thinking like, why am I even going to try to do that? Or it seems impossible.
Especially when you fall off the mountain, when you make it a little bit up and then you fall off, that's even worse.
Exactly.
So is it scarier looking up the mountain, or is it scarier halfway up the mountain when you're looking down and you're saying, damn, I've actually come a pretty long way up. Like maybe I should just chill right here. Which one of those you kind of leads to more of like, more failure?
I wouldn't say that it's like scarier. I would say like it's just a difference in, okay, getting started is definitely difficult. But I feel like those tests, like you said, falling down and like retracement, those tests are what decide and determine if it was something that you needed to have versus something that you just wanted to happen. And that's, to me, in my opinion, like the test is what defines whether it was genuine, like if it was really something that was meant to happen. And so it's different, but you got to push through both.
If we're really going to take this like real deep level, James, what does someone have to learn about themselves in that phase, in that period where they're down, in order to really grow? Like what are some of the aspects that people have to kind of confront about themselves in order to really make that progress?
You got to really just know what your strengths and weaknesses are, really. I mean, it comes down to like your tendencies as a person. Are you, your emotions, like, are you more conservative? Are you more, aggressive? Like I was always, all right, let's do it. Let's, like balls to the wall. Like I took Q's course and I was like, all right, cool. Like full margin this, full margin that, like blah, 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 whatever. Like I was just figuring it out. Like I wasn't scared to do anything like that, So I think, it's tough. It's tough because it's such a situational thing. Like everyone's different. So, I think let's
talk about like you specifically. So like for you, what were some of like the main, and you don't have to go like through specifics, but just in terms of like, is it discipline? Is it habits? Is it like your genetics, for example? Is it like, what really came up while you were trying to grow? Because you had a period of time where you were really trying to succeed at trading and then just a blowout year. And Jason, same with you. People can go back to some of those videos where you're walking against that traffic. It's a really powerful video. You're walking against traffic. You're like, bro, I got no money to my name. I'm walking against traffic and it's not phasing me because I have faith in the future, So what were some things that you confronted about yourself in that period that really helped you get to the next level? Or do you learn the lessons once you kind of break out?
Yeah. I mean, when you have, when you do something great or you do something bad, you definitely learn from you learn way more from the losses than you do from the wins. The wins don't really teach you very much, honestly. Like they just kind of inflate your ego, so I mean, for some people, but I think for me, a lot of it is, it's definitely discipline. It's just, like I said, it's so easy to enter the market and when everything's going well, it's so easy to just think it's going to keep going well, but you have like the reason it was going well is because of the preparation that you did and you took your time and you were disciplined and you waited for your setup and you waited for the exact thing that you wanted to see at the right session time and all these different things. And once you start to deviate, once you start getting that confidence, you get a little chip on your shoulder and it's like, a lot of that stuff starts going out the window. You're like, oh, you know what? It's half of the confluences that I normally look for. It's good enough. That's why I'm super selective. That's why my trading has changed, bro. When I first started trading that day, I did this flip from 400 to 6,000, whatever. I took 63 trades in one session. Like I was scalping, like 63 trades. I wouldn't even take 63 trades maybe in a year, So like as my skill set and my knowledge of myself developed, so did my habits and things like that. So it comes with time, like the thing is most people are not in this for that long, bro. Like, me, Jason, even you, Roy, like we've been in this shit for a long time. Like we've learned a lot. We have scars, that every time we look down, we got that scar on our arms, and it's a reminder. It's a reminder. So it takes time, bro. It takes time.
No, I think that's really important. Jason, you have your own philosophy on like scars and kind of like paying your dues in trading. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I compare obviously to, like, I did the video on Killmonger where his whole body's covered in scars, and I just made the reference, like, if all those scars represented a time you failed, how many would you have? And just the mindset of like, it's gonna happen. I think the one thing that's mutual between James and I is we both sacrificed even when we didn't have like much to, give or spend. Like, we both went to a 5-day course that was a 4-figure sacrifice. And it wasn't a 4-figure, oh, I'm gonna put this here and then maybe in a year this 4 figures will. It wasn't buying a stock or a crypto. It was, we literally had invested 4 figures into our potential and what we knew we would become, because that's really the massive difference between us and anyone on this is what we know. That's really the main thing differentiating us is what we know. So it's like, you just gotta go.
Everything.
It's applied knowledge. It's
right.
Everything,
There's a direct correlation. The more you know, the more money you're gonna make. It's that simple. And I'm sure you learned more than that, bro. Q's course wasn't the only course I took. Like, I learned
exactly.
That was my foundation, was Q, but you got to keep building, bro. Like,
exactly.
The building doesn't stop there, bro. I'm still learning every day. I'm the thing, you have to learn. Like, to anybody that's, sitting here watching this that wants to get involved, like, bro, stop asking, how do I do this? And just start fucking doing it. Like, just start learning, bro. I go on Forex Factory. I'll read forums. I read forum posts about people. Oh, I just created this strategy, but I'll just read it. Like, if there's something valuable, this is where, like, your discretion comes in. Like, you have to be able to filter out the noise, like what's valuable and what's not valuable. So that comes down to you, and everyone has a different style and everyone has different, ways that they behave in the chart. So you need to figure out your own way of doing things and what works for you, but never stop learning.
I completely agree with that. Never, always be a student. Definitely always be a student. But if I can play devil's advocate, I think there's a lot of people that know a lot about trading, but it doesn't really translate. And I'm going to use myself as an example. A couple of years ago, I feel like I knew a lot more than I do now about trading, but I wasn't as successful. But what I do know now is what not to do and what works for me and things like that. Because I feel like two people can have the same education and won't have the same results. What do you guys feel like is that second factor in actually applying it? What is it? Is it discipline? Is it like your own discretion? Is it like, some secret sauce that only some people have? What is that thing that some people only have?
I think willingness to lose. Like, I'm not afraid to take that L. Like, I'm just not. Like, I don't think there's a lot of people that could even, I'm sure Jason has had some big wins and also big losses too. Like, bro, I've had big losses and that shit it never feels good. I don't care. Like, once I start getting comfortable with the losses, that's when I know I need to push it up. Cause like, I don't ever want to be comfortable. I mean, yes, it kind of goes against what people say. You should be emotionless with trading, but like, fuck that. Money is always going to make you emotional, at the end of the day, unless you're like really balling like that. So I'm always pushing myself but I'm not afraid to lose. Like, I've been broke and I've had money and it's great. I'm happy with money, without money, but it's just a tool to do things with. So I know that's the risk and reward is a direct correlation. So
Jason?
I'm fried. I can't even remember the question. What was the question again?
People know a lot about the markets, but it doesn't translate to profits. So education isn't really like that defining factor. What really is the defining factor in being successful trading?
Appreciate
you're funny,
catching me up.
Jason.
Bro, I got to be transparent. The biggest thing I would say is reps. Like, you got to get those reps in. And the biggest thing after that is then being coachable with yourself of like, okay, if you keep losing and losing and losing, then, repping out losing and losing and losing is only going to get you so far as well. So it's like, there has to be some level of consistency of the time that someone trades. Like, do you always trade in New York? What lots are you going to be using consistently? Just things of that nature that you just get reps on. So that way, when it's actually time for it to happen, it's not a brand new feeling. And I feel like that's why so many people get emotional, is because if they're dropping 10 lots on their live account, it's probably the first time they've ever dropped 10 lots.
Right.
And it's like, if you had repped that out even 5-10 times on demo, but I know people are so against demo, and it frustrates me because I know the real reason they're against demo is people trying to leverage demo results as though it's real. I understand, and I'm against that as well. But I'm saying in general, like, the concept of demo should never be like looked down upon, because if you're constantly wanting to like level up your game, there's no reason. Even if I traded a 8-figure demo now, I would rather at least have those reps now and at least get get used to what does that feel like.
It's like watching film, you know?
Exactly, bro. I compare it to throwing a fade. Like
And,
if
and
I
you
throw a
don't,
touch,
go ahead.
if I throw a touchdown in the game, it wasn't my first time throwing that pass. Like I had already done it probably 10, 20 times in practice before that week. So it's the same concept, you know. That's what gives you that confidence.
I was just gonna say, it's like going to the gym too. It's like you don't go to the gym and try and squat 400 pounds. Like you're gonna break your fucking back. You know, it takes time. You got to work up the weights. You know, and you got to go through the pain too. Like that's why a lot of people don't have the dream body that they want, or what, because it takes time and consistency. And not everyone. I think you know what you said separates us is the hunger. You know, like how bad you really want it. Like as cliche as it sounds, like it's real. Like do you really put in the work every day? Do you really like? I'm not big on back testing or whatever, but I trade like the whole 4 years I've been, I take breaks here and there, but I'm always trading. I'm always looking at the markets. I'm always immersed in the space because I'm truly passionate about this shit.
And I call that live testing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Forward testing. Like, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. You know, it's if people don't, it's just the concept of being in it. And that's like you're saying, bro, we're hungry. It's hungry dogs. It's like you don't stop thinking about it. It's literally like we gotta go get to this shit. And I don't know. You know, you still have fun, you still watch movies, you still do all that, but it's like the overriding theme, the permanent marker thought is we gotta go get to it. And like you said, there's going to be days where you feel like you're getting further away because it's a loss or whatever it may be. But I personally feel like the losses where I only had a 3K account and that account was blown, that shit hurt worse than if I lose 10, 20K.
The first time I ever lost 10,000, bro, I was in a fetal position. I fell asleep in my boy's bed for like a day, almost like 18 hours, bro. I was paralyzed.
Because it's relative. Bro. It's relative.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's all you got. It hurts.
All you got. It hurts. That's why when the woman in the Bible had given what little she had, and Jesus said that was the greatest sacrifice or gift because she gave everything. So it's the same thing with these accounts. Like that oftentimes hurts worse. And if people can understand that and push through that, then it's like even as you get to the next levels, it won't even, you'll kind of be numb to it. But like James said, if you want to keep, because there is some people, bro, that honestly will genuinely, if they get to 6 figures trading, they'll be cool with just managing their account for a whole year and trying to do, 20-30% or something like that, and live off the principle and shit. Like, but for individuals like James and myself and Roy, it's like people who want to keep pushing themselves, it's gonna come.
There's no ceiling. This shit has no ceiling, bro. That's the thing that I always think about. Like, it was like, all right, cool. I made 100,000. I made 200,000, 300,000 today. Someone made up 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million, 50 million, 100 million, 1 billion. Like, there's no limits, bro. So like, it's like taking buckets out of the ocean, bro. It's like however much water you can take out is how much you can keep, bro.
Thanks.
There you go. So what do you guys do to keep yourself in the game today? So I know that like everyone is their own person. And I know that you said that you're not big on back testing. You traded long enough that it's really kind of ingrained at this point. What do you do to keep yourself in the game nowadays?
As far as what, like keep yourself in the game, like keep myself just like occupied, you're saying?
Yeah, just keep yourself sharp. Like, do you read stuff about trading? Do you surround yourself with other traders?
I mean, definitely working with my students. I took a little break while I was on vacation. I went on vacation for like 2 months, but like I was working, I do a webinar every Sunday with my students, and people can go on and schedule like one-on-one calls with me. And that definitely, it helps me, it feels like a job sometimes. Like I don't really like working a job. Like I want it to be like fun and free and open and not like feel like I'm obligated to do it. But obviously people are hiring me. So it's, but definitely just staying engaged with them and seeing what they're, the type of mistakes that they're making and always correcting them. It's always keeping my blade sharp.
Yes, sir.
But but all jokes aside, like it definitely it's just things like that and just having a general passion for it. Like I really truly do love trading, and I don't ever see myself not trading, like why it's the most amazing thing, but it comes down to the person. You can be very destructive or you can be very productive with trading, so it's really up to you.
A lot of the folks that we know in trading, and you guys specifically, since we're talking about this, you guys love trading. You guys love markets just in and of itself. And I feel like it's a contributing factor to the success. Do you feel like someone has to love this game to succeed at it? Or can someone just learn the mechanics and succeed just with the mechanics?
I don't really think you should do it if you don't love it, honestly. Like, why would you be doing it? If you're doing it, because the only reason, if you're not passionate about the charts, then would be doing it for money. And that's not really a valid reason to be trading, in my opinion. I think you could. Yeah, you could.
I'll say this. I hated the charts, bro, for like the first 6 months months to a year. I hated it, bro. I literally I didn't get into trading because I was like, oh, this is my passion. It was just literally in my mind, I'm like this. I always use the quote, if not this, then what? It was like, what out there? Because I didn't have a car and I'm doing the Target thing. And it's like, you know what I mean? I wanted to get into wholesaling with real estate. Like if I had a car, bro, I probably wouldn't even be on this call because I probably would have ran it up in wholesale or some type of real estate. Like, because to me, I'm thinking I worked with my dad as a carpenter. So I understood properties. I understood renovations. I understood all of that. So I was like, oh, that's up my alley. But trading just happened to be what it was. And the first 6 months to a year, I really disliked it. But I will say, once you start to like ingrain yourself in it day to day, then you learn, you have more of a respect for it. And then you start to appreciate it as you understand it better, you know? And like, so the more you learn, then the more you can potentially become passionate about trading. The whole, you should love what you do, I agree with. That's why I have like other passion projects. But if you get to the bag, that was always the thing for me. Like trading is not my number one passion, but I knew the money that it could provide if I got fucking cold at it. Right. And that's where I'm like, that's what
it's a vehicle to pursue all your passions, bro. You know, like you need to have outside passions outside of trading. I don't think it has to be your number one thing that you love. Oh, I love
facts.
You're eating your cereal in the morning, like watching charts, you know, but you definitely have to, like, you know, you have to, I mean, who wants to do something that they really don't enjoy, you know?
Exactly.
You know?
But bro, I feel like a lot of the folks that are listening to this, they're probably in a situation where it's like Jason is saying, if not this, then what? There's nothing that really has no limit. There's nothing that really requires, you know, very little down, very little overhead, you know, you don't have employees. So this really does feel like the only option for people, but this really isn't for everyone. James, right. Is trading for everyone? Can anyone be a trader? Can everyone be a trader?
I say it all the time that everybody can, but not everybody will. It's that simple, you know?
Everybody can, but not everybody
will. There's plenty of ways to make money in the space outside of actually trading your own account, bro. There's, you know, EAs, there's people that will manage your funds for you. There's this, there's that, you know? So that, you know, if you don't want to be directly involved, you can still make money with trading. But I do think if you want to make the most money, then you really need to just learn and get involved, you know?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with that is like people look at the fail rate as though it's the worst like fail rate of any industry or niche. Like even baby sea turtles, 1,000 sea turtles get hatched, only one might make it to the teenage years. You can look up the facts. Y'all can fact check me, but the baby sea turtles.
You're the king of analogies, bro. I thought I was good with analogies, but
no, this is next level.
I'm just saying, so only one sea turtle out of 1,000 is going to make it to its teenage years. But we're sitting over here acting like a 90% fail rate in trading is the end of the world. It's like this shit is hard. So that's why I'm more of an advocate for like, you know, people should be like I get the industry is like, oh, everyone wants to, if they don't think it's possible, they don't think that it's real. But even with our FX books, bro, it's like the FX books is basically the ESPN stat line. And even that, people will say you can finagle.
Yeah, bro, people will literally, dog,
anything,
I get
anything.
It's not real, it's demo. I show them the fucking the screen recordings of the withdrawal. I show them a video with me on my phone,
right,
clicking the buttons on my broker, you know, whatever, $1 million. Oh, you're working with the broker. Oh, these are edited results. Oh, like, because at the end of the day, bro, like that's the reason why they're not successful, is because one, they come on someone else's page and waste their time to talk shit to me. Like what do you know, not gaining anything from that. And you have limiting beliefs, you know, like you have to remove all limiting beliefs if you want to really like excel with trading. Like I know that there's no limits. Like I've personally done crazy things, but I've had trades that all I had to do was nothing, and I could have had millions of dollars in a day before, you know. So I know what's possible, you know. It's just, it comes down to me and what I'm comfortable with, and you know, just getting myself more comfortable and accustomed to these type of numbers, you know. But it's only a matter of time before, just wait, next year, bro, we're gonna do another podcast when I have $1 million day. Like I telling you, I will have $1 million day next year. Like,
and I'm betting on it. I'm 100% betting on it. I think that was the only 20 seconds of clout we're gonna give to the trolls. Trolls get on everybody's page. They're gonna be like, "Oh, that's not real. Oh, you should, you know, this and that."
I love that shit. That shit fuels me so much.
But let's be real. The people that watch this podcast is like that 5% win rate. You know, those 5% of traders succeed. The 5% are watching this.
Right.
Exactly. So they're really trying to figure out what's in you guys' head that they can use to level up and to kind of get to the next level. Because even though you guys might not see yourselves as being like, oh, all this special stuff. You guys did very specific things that got you to where you are, and you have a very specific perspective on this game. And I think a lot of folks are just kind of wondering how they can level up and get to that next step. So if we can just kind of get through, there's some topics I wanted to go through just to see how you guys think about them. First off is funding. It's the biggest thing in Forex today. Everybody is trying to get funded. Beginners are using it as a crutch to not put their own money in. Advanced traders are jumping in, trying to kind of finally get capitalized. What do you guys think about funding? Do you guys think that traders, should be more careful about funding, or what do you think? Let's start with you, Jason.
Okay, so funding, I think for one, like for traders who do plan on having the long-term, like let me build an account and stay consistent with my risk management and really build out a portfolio and level up that way, I think funding is a phenomenal opportunity. But like we said, the fail rate is what it is. I don't think people should just get discouraged from failing a funding challenge, especially since most of them only cost anywhere from, 200 to like 1,000, and that type of range. And you're getting access to all types of, practice accounts, whatever it may be, in order to try to prove yourself worthy. But I know a lot of people that are funded and do get paid out. I myself even ran a funding program and probably brought on close to 100 traders. And even what I start to realize with that is it's more of a headache than anything, because anytime people fail, they're going to constantly say this happened or this happened and try to blame you, when in all reality, I have no control over what goes on in the back end. It's all being calculated, and there's a computer that runs all of that. So, something that I tried, and once again, that's just me being transparent I tried a business model. This was before Top Tier. This was just in general, and that's where I got excited as an entrepreneur, because me and my boy Drew Bishop were like, okay, we were first to the market type of deal. We got to test the water. And I know Top Tier probably has thousands of traders. So once again, it's not a matter of how many people did I bring on board. It was I really wanted to test the waters and see how traders would do. And once again, you'd be surprised how many traders, don't pass, and you quickly realize all these funding programs are majority making money off the sign-up game. And that's just it. That just is what it is.
No. Hold on. We got to dive into that. So what did you learn from running that? I know it was a small sample size. It wasn't that many people, but what did you really learn from seeing people's results? How many people actually passed the challenge, and how many people actually made it through?
Yeah, we purposely kept it a small sample size because neither of us wanted to be overwhelmed with all these traders and getting people their account details and credentials. And we just wanted to test the water. We wanted to see how things went with payouts. I always am a fan of really get a feel for the space and what comes with it, than just massively let's bring in thousands of traders. Just in general, bro, it's just I started to realize once again, people for the most part still don't have a plan. They go in with whatever the max lot size is, they use that on the very first trade, and they're trying to treat these accounts as we were talking about with those aggressive builds. But it's kind of the opposite. It's that's where trading should be boring. And that's the goal for people who want to manage that type of money. Because even at my affirmation, I am a 10-figure trader. When I'm managing, even the blue FX book that I have now is not the percentage gains that James did, but on a 100K account, I'm up over 130% in 8 months. And my FX book is called Jenga. That's the name I gave it, because that's just the Stu that's the shit that Stu likes. That's one of my favorite movies. That man had a crazy sniper from long range. He would hit you from anywhere, fastest gun in the South. So that's how I'm getting down. And that's, once again, like you said, how do you keep it fun and how do you enjoy it? I almost view FX books like albums. As I continue to level up, then I'm gonna have a new name for every FX book, and this is gonna be my ESPN stat line. I'm used to playing in front of thousands and thousands of people and then being able to say, oh, he sucks, or oh, he's great. I'm used to that. So trading is not really much different, but I do prefer when I'm trading to have my trades private. I don't like people on the outside saying, oh, it's going to go this way, or, oh, should you close? It should be a you versus the market game, in my opinion. So for traders who are giving signals and all that, I take my hat off to them, because it's extra pressure when all these other people are relying on you being right. So even when I give out trade setups or whatever it may be, people don't realize that shit is a lot more pressure than even taking the trade on your own, but it makes you great.
That's for damn sure. James, in terms of funding versus trading your live account, what do you think?
I have mixed emotions about the funding programs. Similar to what Stu said, is like I think it's a little bit of like a mirage, kind of the way they set it up. Like it's definitely not set up in your favor. You know, you got to pass step 1, you got to pass step 2, and then like you have to go through these hurdles before you even get to the starting blocks. So I forget who I spoke to or someone, or it was FTMO or someone released results about how I think it's 90% or above 90% of people don't even make it past their first month of the live account. So it's kind of like a casino, like a very rigged casino in a way. I mean, look, if you know how to trade, it doesn't, I don't personally, maybe if I was back when I first started, I'd maybe use it, but for me, it doesn't really suit my trading style. Like I like to use, like, I think 10% is not enough for me. Like I might risk 10% in a trade, 5 or 10%. So like, because I'm used to having more wins, a higher win rate, I can do more with the money. So it's kind of like I was saying, like it's a mirage because they give you $200,000, but you can only really risk 20K. So they really give you 20K to risk, but they give you this a massive amount of leverage that, it's kind of incentivized for you to fail. That like, that's what people don't understand, is that like everyone's getting paid, like they're getting paid from these challenges, and they have no risk. And even when you get a live account, you still don't even get real money. Like even FTMO goes on public saying, yeah, we don't actually
simulated trading.
Yeah, exactly. They don't actually give you live capital until you've proven yourself month over month over month. So
now,
then
since we've thrown them out there a few times, a quick shout out to FTMO. And as long as those checks keep coming in, it doesn't matter.
Shout out FTMO, shout out Raul and Alex FMS, shout out Q, top tier.
For sure.
Migs is coming out, he's doing a thing. Everyone's gonna be, I mean, why not? I mean,
I think when folks are first starting in their trading, they're gonna need the capital, right?
Yeah, of course. I think if you're a good trader and you have discipline, go for it. Like if you're nice with trading, and the thing is, you can open up multiple accounts. Like there, you can open an account with your mother, your sister, your dog, whatever. Like and you can. They frown upon it, but there's ways to link them all with trade copiers and do shit, and you can mess around with the lot sizes on each one, because like some of them they frown upon the trade copiers, but there's ways to do it. And if you want, you could build up millions of dollars worth of capital in a short period of time. And if you're good at trading, like you'll make a lot of money. It's definitely a good avenue, but you have to really scale yourself down. You got to like only risk 0.5%, whatever, things like that. So it takes time.
Someone's sitting at home, they're at the gym, they're listening to this on their bike, they're listening to this cleaning their house, they're in the car, whatever. They say, what can I do going into next year so I can have a level up 2022? What's your best advice to the folks at home for how they can have a better 2022 and really hit some kind of breakout? We can start with you, James.
But start this year. Like we still got 8-9 days left of 2021. So start now. I mean, whether you have no knowledge or any knowledge, I mean, bro, there's a lot of good info out there on the internet, bro. There's so much information. The dude Roy_NL_, he has a YouTube page. It's called the Coin FX. He's got some great videos on there that are free. Baby Pips has a ton of great info, as cliche as it is. There's a lot of great free resources out there, or just find someone you really like and see if they have a mentorship, pay for their time. And that's the thing, is like people don't want to pay. Everyone wants results, and people don't want to pay. And not only do you have to do the work yourself, but you also have to seek out, knowledge. And you're not only paying for the knowledge, but you're paying for the years of time that somebody took to get there. That you're paying for the scars that they took to learn what they learned. And it's deeper than just trading strategies. It's also just, I took Q's 5-day course, and the material is great, but my biggest takeaways were more just the mental cues, just the way he carried himself and the way he just conducted himself. It was more so what I took away from that course.
So be a great student. I think, James, you're one of the best students that I know, because even through all your success, you've continued to stay coachable and learnable. And I think that's really awesome to see. And shout out to Baby Pips, who will be attending the FX Summit 2022. Grab your tickets in the description below.
Get your tickets. That's going to be I'm so excited for that event.
Yeah. Baby Pips showing up is going to be a huge deal. Jason, talk to us. Biggest advice 2022, someone at home on the Peloton wants the breakout year. Talk to them.
Biggest advice, they need to cop their ticket to FX Summit 2022. This is something that you got to be at. In all seriousness, like, this is going to be the Mecca. This is the first. This is not something that you're going to want to miss. Like, imagine the first ever Super Bowl, and that's going to be this for trading.
Right.
So it's definitely something that you're going to want to be a part of. It's underpriced value, but there's a lot of things, bro, to do to get better. For one, you could definitely find a better plug, smoke better gas. That's very important. The higher the grade, the better, the more you're going to elevate. And
The higher the grade, the higher the scores, right?
I'm trying to tell you, bro. So that's important. Also, shout out to Harry Potter. They had the first ever NFTs. If you notice inside of the castle, they got moving pictures all over the wall. So they were the first to do it. Them and Soldier Boy. The other things to do to get better: make sure you work out. Like really get active. Get you some vitamin D. Go stand out in the sun. Like go kiss some flowers and some nature. Like go really get active, because that's gonna just bring you back to the reality of we're all just grains of sand in this infinite universe.
Right.
So it's like everything I'm saying right now doesn't even fucking matter. And excuse my language, but like that's just the truth. So I say that to inspire the person listening to like really just go be them. Like just go take a chance and know like and real quick, shout out to this Georgia quarterback, moment of silence for him. High school kid, bro, got surgery on his shoulder. D1 offers everything. Quarterback here in Georgia, had some anesthesia go to his brain sideways, whatever it may be. Passed away, bro, from just a regular routine shoulder surgery. So that just goes to show the kid's 18, high school kid, had all this big bright future, all these colleges offering him, and boom, just like that. So, you know, that's not to bring things down, but to just put things into perspective. Like it could happen for any of us any given day. So like really just go after it and just start every day with gratitude. That's why we talk about wake up list, gratitude on 100. It's like, you know, we're here now, but you just never know. So it's like every single breath, every single move, it's just, you got to stay in it, bro. You got to stay in it.
All right, gentlemen, I really appreciate you. Another amazing episode 25 of the Expert Trader podcast with the phenom himself, Mr. James Storms, and the Forex quarterback, Mr. Qbstew. Thank you guys both for stopping by. Real quick, a bonus question for you both. And this is for all the stoners out there. What do you guys think about cannabis and trading? Do you feel like it has helped or hurt your trading? And Jason, I actually want to ask you about this because it's something you're pretty open about.
Yes, I'm very open about it, because if we can have alcohol commercials on the Super Bowl or any sporting event, or people can go to a sporting event and just start chugging a beer and the whole crowd goes crazy, but yet we have stats that show us in every single year we're seeing tragedies. Even Henry Ruggs, for example, this year, the Oakland Raiders receiver, who is going to be facing probably life in prison, and 2 people died from drunk driving. So it's the concept of like we glorify alcohol and have no issues with, like, you could be openly talking at work about how let's go get a beer this weekend, but heaven forbid Jason wants to smoke gas because he has separated shoulders and anxiety and things that are going on, and he needs this medicine. So I'm very open about it because I know that's how change happens. That's why I said I plan on playing in a football league this coming year, and I plan on throwing a touchdown and pulling out a L and sparking it on the field, because I know that that's the best way that you can really bring light to something that's helping people, not hurting people. But don't let it use you. You got to use it. So like don't sit there and say, okay, well, I can just smoke all day and sit on the couch and not get shit done. You see, I smoke and then I'm getting to work, whether I got to mix it with caffeine. Like I like a coffee where you're getting the caffeine and the THC. So that way I'm getting the creativity of a sativa. And then I can also like get to work and still be mellow and all the things that I like to have as I'm in the mix, dealing with all this fluctuating money and emotions. It's good to have that numb confidence of like, Stu, you really do this, bro. You put the work in. That's where your confidence comes from, because you've seen this over and over and over and over again. So even when you're 3 pips from getting stopped out, you're not going to self-sabotage yourself, right? You're going to sit there and look at it in the eye. And then now that you're back in profit, you're going to maintain it the same way as when you were in drawdown. So definitely important. James, please preach to these people on this good gas.
I mean, yeah, like I've been smoking for a long time, and I've definitely learned. I mean, it comes down to who you are as a person, and you don't want, like you said it perfectly. Use it, don't let it use you. Like when nowadays, like I used to smoke when I was in high school and shit. Like I used to smoke all day long, and I felt like it took away from my productivity. Nowadays, like when I smoke, like I want to do things that are like I want to have an experience. I don't just want to sit around and whatever. If you're chilling watching a movie, like cool, like smoke some up. But or if you're going, you're gonna go, like if you're doing something leisurely, like you're at an amusement park or whatever, that's cool. But like, you know, I don't really try to smoke in the morning anymore. Like I like to get up, start my day. I usually start with some cardio or running or whatever it is. You know, I feel like it just helps me like mentally, because sometimes you can you smoke too much, or you plan your day around it or whatever, and it kind of becomes a hindrance and not like a, you know, it's not helping you. So I think, you know, less is more, but you know, if you're comfortable with it, like I'm super comfortable. Like I can smoke, and I used to work in a restaurant. I used to fucking go smoke in the back and go serve my tables and whatever. Like I was cool with interacting with people and just being productive on it, you know. But I definitely cut it back more and more because I feel like I don't really need it as much, you know. Like I felt like I relied on it a lot because, you know, it's that dopamine, man. Like that shit fucking, it gets addicting, bro. So you know you need to find a happy medium with it. So I'm an advocate for it, especially like when I'm already in my trades and I've done my analysis, I enter my trades. Yeah, I might smoke it. Like I'm just chilling. Like I'm just, you know, letting my trades run, and I'm just chilling. Like it helps me ease my anxiety and things like that. So
James, what really changed for you? You said that you used to smoke a lot, and then you kind of just like, you said you didn't need it anymore. What did you feel like you needed it for in the first place?
I guess sometimes just like for a lack of something better to do, or just like it was just what you did. Like you woke up, you know, your boys hit you up like, yo, you trying to smoke, blah blah blah. Like, and it's just like a defeating mindset, because it just gets you nowhere. It's kind of like, you know, you just running in circles, you're running in a rut. Like that's why, like, you know, I love everyone here in New York and everything. I love New York. I think it's one of the greatest places in the world. But right now, like a lot of my friends are just not where I'm at, and that's not a bad thing. Like I always push my friends, and I always try to, you know, get people ahead in the game, but I'm just at a different space than a lot of them. So like I need to surround myself. You should always have someone in your circle above you, people at your level, and the people you can teach, you know, like that's something that you need to have. So I think, you know, I'm going to be moving to Miami in January, and I think it's going to be a good thing for me. It's just, you know, there's a lot of people, like-minded people there, people that are above me, people that are below me, and on my level. So I think, yeah, I just,
environment is key.
Yeah,
That environment
is
change is
like,
key.
yeah, because like, you know, a lot of people, like some people just don't have aspirations like that. Or, you know, they're cool with working their job, and they're cool with doing what they do, and they're cool with, you know, their small little pleasures and work and smoking weed, and, you know, when they get right off of work and whatever, and waking up their day and smoking and then going, you know, and like that's not the routine that I want to be involved in. I used to do that, and I just had to transition. I had to level up. I have to keep pushing, you know.
There we go.
Because if you're not where you want to be at, like you can't be chilling and smoking weed. Like, you know, you can't be partying. You can't be doing, if you're not like where you want to be. It's cool. Like once in a while you celebrate your wins along the way, but you can't be chilling if you're not, you know, who said that? I don't got 100 mil yet. I can't chill yet. Who said that? Lil Baby, right?
Right.
I like J. Cole said 100 mil and still on the grind. Which is even better. That man's rich as fuck, and he's still going for it. Gentlemen, I
compare
really
it to peanut butter, honestly, bro. It's like if you have one scoop of peanut butter, it's really peanut butter, bro. The gas is peanut butter, bro, because one person can have even just a taste of it and end up in the hospital on an allergic reaction. Another person can eat a whole jar. So you have to know your own recipe.
Right.
As far as like how much you should consume, when you should consume, all of that. You got to all back to knowing yourself again.
Yeah, and it's not like it's malicious. It's not like it's like alcohol is proven to be way more, like you can get cirrhosis of your liver. Like there's all these bad things that can happen. Like weed is really not bad. Like I don't even like to smoke weed. I have a vaporizer, or I eat edibles or whatever. Like I'm very conscious about my health. My health is, because at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter how Steve Jobs he's dead. Like, you know, that was one of the richest men in the world. If you don't take care of yourself, doesn't matter how much money you have. So I only get one body. I only get one set of organs. I only get one. So I'm gonna make sure I look at it like a carb, you know, like you don't change the oil, you don't take care of it, it's gonna fail, you know.
Guys, this has been an amazing conversation. Biggest lessons have been like really get to know yourself. You guys have really gotten to know yourselves and really push yourselves to some limits. It's amazing to see both of you guys' growth. And it's also going to be amazing to see you guys both at the FX Summit 2022 in Miami next year, May 13th through the 15th. Guys, thanks for stopping by the Expert Trader podcast.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you having me as always, bro.